Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Miriam Shara, Executive Director of the Arab American Civil Rights League. I want to begin by expressing our deep commitment to protecting the rights of our community during these uncertain times. We are here today to address an issue that is not only critical to the Arab American community, but immigrant communities in all, but all the individuals who also face the challenges of ICE enforcement. Over the past weekend alone, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement conducted significant operations, resulting in the arrest of 956 individuals. This brings the total number of arrests in recent weeks to 2,681, reflecting a concerning increase in enforcement actions. The recent rise in immigration enforcement actions have caused significant anxiety, particularly in communities already vulnerable to discrimination. At ACRL, we firmly believe that knowledge is power. By educating individuals on their rights, we aim to empower them to make profound and informed decisions during potentially intimidating encounters with ICE officers. It's crucial that people know what they are entitled to under the law and how they can protect themselves and their loved ones. Here are some key rights that everyone should know in case of an ICE encounter. Do not open the door unless ICE has a search warrant. Remain silent. You have the right to refuse to answer questions and ask for an attorney. Record the encounter. Document everything with your phone. It's your right to do so. Do not sign anything without speaking to an attorney. Report the incident and make a plan. Prepare in advance with a trusted contact and know your rights. We encourage everyone to stay calm, be polite, and never lie, as lying can have serious consequences. Today, we are joined by legal experts, community leaders, and state legislators who are committed to ensuring that our community has the resources and support needed to navigate these challenges. In addition to today's press conference, we have established a hotline to provide direct support to those in need, offering guidance on what to do in these difficult situations. The hotline number is 1-800-243-0302. We also have a range of resources available to assist individuals facing potential immigration-related challenges. I'd like to thank our partners, including our volunteer immigration attorneys and civil rights attorneys, for their continued support and dedication to this cause. Additionally, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of key legislators and officials who are here today, as their involvement strengthens our collective effort to protect the rights of all people, regardless of the immigration status. I'm going to turn this over to the founder and chairman of the Arab American Civil Rights League to go a little bit more in depth of this. Nabi Hayad.
That's good. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you all for being here. Again, I say it over and over again all the time that you guys are in this room. You are the gatekeepers for justice. We appreciate, giving a voice to the voiceless. That being said, I want to thank the individuals that are here attending. Our State Senator Stephanie Chang, that is here and has been an advocate for this community and her community for a number, I would say, decades. As well as I know Senator Sylvia Santana should be here any minute. Other senators apologized. They were looking forward to being here but could not make it. Initially, we were going to set a press conference later in the week, but due to the circumstances, we moved it up, and that's why we sent out the notice yesterday evening, because we've getting a lot of calls as to individuals that are starting to be picked up to a certain degree, and we know this is going to be ramped up in the coming days, if not weeks, and in the coming weeks, if not days, here in the metro area, as well as Dearborn Heights and southeastern Michigan region. That being said, we must act. We see that we've seen this happen before. This is not our first rodeo with the Trump administration. You're looking at basically the organization, the attorney that actually filed against the Trump administration Muslim ban on 1.0. We were successfully able to get a permanent injunction across the country, allowing those individuals from Muslim countries that have green cards to return to their home, the United States of America. We've also looking at the same firm here, an attorney that basically have filed the first expedited removal lawsuit here in this region of the state, if not the country, approximately 22 years ago, when Ashcroft, the Attorney General at that time, tried to remove about 140, mostly predominantly Yemeni Arab Americans from this region. Again, we were successful in that as well. What we see happening here with the Trump administration and the executive order, they're trying to exercise and implement a law that is basically very specific in its application, and that is the expedited removal law. And the expedited removal law really applies to arriving aliens, meaning those are individuals that are basically coming in at a certain time, Normally that law is normally supposed to be applied approximately within 14 days that you enter the United States, as well within a 100-mile radius of the border. With the Trump's new administrative order, it basically makes no limit of such. Basically, anyone that's basically in this country, regardless of radius from the border, anywhere in the country, you can be arrested and deported, and using this statute, the expedited removal statute. Now, what is so dangerous about this statute? It's the inability to be able to go before a court, inability to go before a hearing, inability to get bond while these actions are conducted to remove you from the United States. And the danger in that is these things happen very, very fast. Basically, you're arrested. You are seen if that is the person that you claim to be. Literally within days, they have you either on a bus or on a plane out of this country. And that's a very dangerous mechanism for individuals, even individuals that have lived here for a number of years, who can say they walk around with paperwork showing that they've lived for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road with paperwork showing that I've been in this country. You cannot just take me, put me on a bus, on a plane, and get me out of here. All right? You must put me under normal standard removal proceedings under the immigration laws. That's the danger. And we've seen already the actions have already been implemented. Individuals, some of them were arrested were U.S. veterans. Some of them that were arrested were U.S. citizens. Some of them that were arrested were individuals that were deported back to Mexico, and they're not even Mexican. So there's inherent danger in that because you're leaving the discretion and the authority for that particular officer that comes knocking on your door, your business, to arrest you. And that's an inherent danger in that. Now, again, we're not sitting here and saying, we're against this policy or that policy. What we're saying is that civil rights and due process and our Constitution and our Fourth and Fifth Amendment should absolutely be respected during this process. And what our concern is, as a civil rights organization, and justice anywhere is a threat to justice anywhere. As well as our Hispanic American community, Latino American community, Asian community, Indian American, Pakistani, Bangladesh, all these communities have a concern. Because some of these individuals look at us as just as one class and one diverse group. And if you don't have your papers at that particular time, it's a very dangerous outcome that could happen to you. And once you get deported, good luck on trying to come back. It's a very, very hard process in of itself. Not a lot of people have the resources to step in federal court and bring their action to protect their rights and their constitutional rights under our federal system. That being said, we do have the Arab American Civil Rights League, ACRL here, does have resources. We have resources. We have volunteer attorneys. We have damn good attorneys as well, attorneys that change law in this country, that are willing to step up and help. We have ACRL Law, my law firm, as well as numerous attorneys like William Savage, Verona Senko, amazing paralegals as well, like Heather. We have other volunteer attorneys, Rula Owen, an amazing attorney, civil rights attorney as well, and other stuff that she handles, as well as our number of our board members that also specialize in immigration law, that are also stepping up to volunteer, as well as community attorneys that have accepted to volunteer their time and efforts to help. And this is what the hotline is about. Again, we're not guaranteeing that we're going to sit there and defend you for years and years to come on when you call that number, but we could definitely give you the direction, give you some advice, try to help you in navigating through this process in a very expeditious fashion. We're here for you. We want you to know that we're here for you. ACRL is here for you to take on this fight with you. I know it's causing a lot of anxiety to the community. The community is on edge. Are they coming for me? Are they going to be, did my neighbor say something? Did my employee, colleague say something? Does somebody say something that's going to get me arrested this evening or come knock on my door at 6 a.m. in the morning? That's normally the time that they do this as well. So yeah, the community is on edge, and we want the community to know those individuals and their families that are affected and their loved ones and their community that we're here for you, standing up for you on these issues, and we'll be ready. If we have to step in a federal court, it's not our first rodeo. Like I said, we will do that. We will do that. And if they exercise expedited removal in a wrongful fashion, ACRL is going to be stepping back in the federal court and bringing another lawsuit. And we welcome that challenge. We will do it all day long. So what's important is these individuals know that you don't, like as Miriam said, you don't have to basically, outside of your name, you don't have to give them any other information. You can say you want an attorney. You can ask them if you're under arrest. You can ask them also if they have a warrant. If not, not that they always need a warrant to come into your home, but unless they see a crime, they would always need a warrant to come into your to search your home or search for you with an arrest warrant. They may come up to your job. Make no mistake, there's a number of informants as well in the community. Themselves are illegal that would work for immigration and give some names out. So yeah, it's a very stressful, high anxiety time for this community. I think all diverse community, not only in this region, in this state, and in this country. The problem with using expedited removal against these individuals is that these individuals first have to be classified as arriving aliens, and the law is pretty particular as to what is considered an arriving alien. If you've been here for a number of years, you're not technically no longer an arriving alien. And there's plenty case law across the country to address this. So what does that mean? That means that they cannot just sit there, grab you, put you on a plane and deport you. That means they have to set you before an immigration court judge, one that is knowledgeable in the law and knows the immigration laws and rules and policies, with a district counsel who's so-called AKA prosecutor, and your ability to have counsel to defend yourself before the court proceedings, and the ability to have appeal rights and everything else down the road. That is the difference when you go before the immigration court proceedings and normal removal proceedings. So does this officer who is arresting these so-called aliens, immigrants, or illegal aliens, do they know the background? Do they know do they know their circumstance? Do they know how long they've been in this country? Do they know whether their spouses are about to become United States citizens, where it may give them relief? Do they know their background, whether they're afraid to go back to their home country because they are under fear of torture or a fear of persecution in their home country? These are all exceptions to the expedited removal type situation. And the problem with expedited removal, even if you could claim that, hey, I'm afraid to go back to my home country because I'll be persecuted or tortured or what have you, or I'm stateless, but it's up to that one particular officer who does not have, most likely, a lot of experience and knowledge in the process to sit there and say, oh, okay, I feel that you have a credible fear, so I'm going to go ahead and put you through the normal removal proceedings. You can apply for asylum thereafter. So it's a very dangerous route that's happening. Very, very, very low protections, if any, when you use this type of law or this administrative order to take on the most vulnerable in the community, and that is the immigrants or illegal immigrants in this nation. And make no mistake about it, these individuals, they may be illegal immigrants, they may be violation law, but they have family, they have loved ones, they have community, they are U.S. citizens, are legal aliens, are permanent green card holders, are working taxpayers, and are voters, and are very concerned about their loved ones. At this moment, I would like to turn it on to our esteemed Stephanie Chang, State Senator. Please.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much to ACRL for hosting this and for the work that you're doing to protect everyone's civil liberties and civil rights. Nabi mentioned how we have been here before. I was looking back at records of the work that even just my own office has done, and thinking back to March 2017, doing Know Your Rights trainings. Had the opportunity to serve Southwest Detroit in my time in the State House, and it feels very similar. Much of the fear that was mentioned before, much of the anxiety, much of the feelings about where is safe to be. And it's really unfortunate that we are here again. And so, in addition to the problems and concerns with expedited removal, just wanted to highlight a couple other things that are also very, very concerning. Thinking about the fact that ICE has had, since 2011, a sensitive locations policy that is no longer. The various forms of this policy were actually in place for the past 14 years, including during the first Trump administration, protecting churches, other places of worship, schools, hospitals, from immigration raids, basically. So the fact that now that policy is no longer means that our students, people try to just go to their place of worship to practice their right to exercise their religion, now will have to make decisions about whether or not they feel safe to do that. And that's just un-American, honestly, the fact that we have to even be thinking about that. So it's very, very concerning. One of the things that's also really concerning is that I learned late last week that many of the legal aid organizations that have been in courts there to actually provide assistance to people are no longer actually going to be receiving that federal funding and no longer able to be in the courts to make sure that they are providing those legal services. So groups like the Michigan Immigrants' Rights Center and others that have received federal funding to do that unfortunately no longer are able to. When we're talking about due process, it should absolutely be the case that in the United States of America, that if you're facing, such extreme challenges to the fate of whether or not you can be here in this country with your family, that you should have that right to an attorney being there in that courthouse to help you. So just to zoom out, though, in addition to all of these very specific policy concerns, whether it's a sensitive locations policy or expedited removal, or now this lack of funding for really important organizations to do the work that they do, I think we just, as a country, I feel like and as a state here in Michigan, clearly have a lot that we need to do in terms of resetting about what are our values and what is it that we're going to stand up for. I'm a proud daughter of immigrants, and I'm also really proud to represent a district that's very diverse, and we've got folks who have come to this country and to this state seeking a better opportunity. And so recognizing just the importance of immigrants to our state, not only to our economy, but to the vibrancy of our neighborhoods and to our communities, is something that, unfortunately, I think there are a lot of folks who need that reminder of just how important immigrants are for our state. And so I would challenge anyone who stands up for civil rights and for civil liberties to remember that we have to stand up for everyone in our communities. And I'm really hopeful, though, that in this past week, that we've seen more and more a recognition from our fellow community members of just how important it is that we stand up for what is right. Thank you.
Thank you, Soon. Thank you. Also, we have here Chuy Carrega, NAACP Legal Counsel. As you know, the NAACP, largest office in the country, biggest office here as well. They understand very right that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and our friends and neighbors and colleagues next door to Dearborn Heights, Southwest Detroit, and everywhere else. So I'm going to open it up for questions at this time.
At the beginning, recent cases where eyes have been community and stuff himself, will you share that with her?
In Dearborn Heights, I think we just got it was just recently, somebody at Kroger, right? This is
some videos online that people right now, as of hours ago or minutes ago, or
Sorry.
yeah, sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Sure. So give us your name. Yes. So my name is Rula Owen. I'm a board member at the ACRL, and I don't know specifically of the individuals, but I did see some videos circulating online that there were actually arrests being conducted within the last couple hours in the city of Dearborn. I don't know the identities of the individuals specifically, but I know that that it is currently happening in the city. Can you give us your thoughts on that? I mean, it's so friend. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with Nabi. So as an attorney who has practiced immigration law, I know that there are protocols, there are laws, there are procedures and mechanisms that you have to go about in order to deport individuals who are undocumented. Usually our role as attorneys is to determine whether there is a path to status, whether it be a U.S. citizen, family member, immediate family member, spouse, child, or the like. Some people are not quick to apply for lawful status as soon as they become eligible for it. So the fact that individuals are being picked up, put through these expedited procedures without determining whether they can lawfully stay for other reasons, I think that that's extremely frightening. I think that everybody knows somebody who is related to somebody who could provide a path for them to legally stay here. But if all of that is ignored and we, remove them as quick as possible without finding out whether they have that opportunity, I find that to be very frightening. There are a lot of children who may have an undocumented parent or both, it could be any situation. And to be arrested without warning, without knowing what your rights are, without knowing who you can talk to, what to talk to them about, that is concerning. And we are definitely here to help anyone who we can help, who we can give advice to, who we can educate on the law and their rights. But of course, if there are no rights, then there's not much we can do. And that's what our role is here, is to try and preserve what rights and laws that are on the books.
You mentioned concerns about due process, but birthright citizenship is also at risk here too, apparently, is it not?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's, and as I predicted, that was going to be stricken down under the 14th Amendment. I mean, it's not just that easy to amend our United States constitutional amendments, and I think a federal court in Washington on the West Coast has struck that, or to put an end to the stay on that, and actually asked the government attorneys. It's unbelievable that they even take that position that that somehow, some way is not unconstitutional. So yes, I think that's going to be a very uphill battle for the this presidency to try to strike that birthright citizenship. Absolutely.
I don't mean to sidetrack with this question, but I think it's important to ask. I mean, the majority of people in this community voting for Trump. I know there were extenuating circumstances with Gaza, protest votes. I'd be interested in your thought on that.
I'd love to give it. I'd love to give it. I mean, in all essence, yes. I mean, there is priorities of importance to this community, and genocide was the most important issue to this community. So yes, absolutely, there was issues, and they know. They're not all for every little task that Trump does. There's no doubt. They may be against what he's doing right now. But if I had to choose between somebody being put on a plane, taken, and being deported back to the country, as opposed to a child being sniped by a 2-year-old or 5-year-old, or somebody burnt alive and a genocide happening, I'll choose the first. And I think a lot of the community feels the same way. That is number one on their list. They want to see the killing of people stop, especially children and women.
Yeah. So if you don't have any paperwork with your green card or any kind of document proving that you are in process, you could be targeted. Doesn't mean that you have to bond your papers with you all the time. But if you do have one, also you could be deported if you forget it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. First of all, we absolutely urge you to hold a lot of papers with you at this time, especially if you don't have no immigration status. Now, if you have an immigration status, you have a green card, a citizenship, a passport card, you have pending paper shows, you have a pending application for asylum, definitely hold that. But if you don't have that, and if you're either an illegal immigrant or you overstayed or you came on a humanitarian parole or you were vesseled in or what have you, you definitely need to show, I would recommend at least 2 to 3 years of paperwork. And that doesn't mean you keep every utility bill, every tax bill, every electric bill, but you would keep it on every 2 or 3 months, show that you've been here all this time, for them to know that, okay, this individual has enough evidence to show that we can't use expedited removal against them. Therefore, we must put them through the normal channels of removal proceedings and possibly allow this individual to get some sort of bond to a certain degree. So yes, I recommend strongly for individuals to have either on them or their vehicles or in their home or where they go to work, a number of documents to show how long they've been here. Everything from utility bills to tax returns to lease agreements, credit card bills, phone bills, so whatever you may have in your possession, keep them on you every 3-4 months to show that you've been here for this long, because they'll be looking at that.
Are there any more steps outside of the first stop on the hotline numbers guys are going to take to continue to wait?
Yes, and that's a good question. We are looking to see the number of calls and how they come in, and as to what kind of action that the government is taking against these individuals. And if we feel that they've overstepped their authority, we will again probably start a class action lawsuit again and step into federal court and asking for a stay and an injunction against the U.S. government from exercising it, because they simply cannot do or choose or know who is under the expedited removal statute or not, and that's dangerous. It's upon the government to take certain action. They must show that they've done it in a proper fashion, and they're not basically just applying it indiscriminately against this person or that person, and also whether their due process rights were considered in that process of executing.
You need a test case for that, or can you just file that blanketly?
Well, we need a complainant for that. And again, this is kind of why we've done this. We've started to get some calls of concerns, and it got a little bit more over in the last few days. So, we felt that we probably could not wait till this press conference goes to the last, because we know this is going to be coming. As you can see already in Kroger today, it was coming. So we felt that we need to move on this ASAP, because there's going to be a lot of families who are going to be affected very soon with this. So yeah, we need definitely a complaint, and our complaint could be a representative of a class. We've done that before, but we have to have complainants come in as to, once they're actually arrested, a family member is impacted, or the individual is impacted, to step in a federal court and say he's a representative of a class.
So when should people call this hotline? Should they call just with general concerns after they're, failing a verdict?
I would think that somebody, knowing I've been doing this for 25 years, I think anyone that is concerned about what's going on, especially if they have a loved one or family member that is a possible target of this administrative order, to absolutely call the hotline. Maybe a lot of them, I know, they want to ask some questions as to what can we do. Like the gentleman said, what kind of paper should they have on them? Should I go to work? Should I not go to work? Should I stay at the same house? Some people I've had, a lot of times when government are looking for you, people don't stay at the house. They end up getting a hotel room or a motel room to stay away, or somebody else's house, because the government can't just come and easily arrest them. So some of them, if they're already in the system where the USCIS already knows where they're at, where they reside or where they work, then the government knows where they're at. They're probably going to come out there. They'll have some concerns. So I would anticipate them calling us on a number of issues, including that kind of a preemptory type, as what should they do, as opposed to, and I'm sure those individuals that had loved ones arrested will definitely want to call and see what can they do next.
Is that manned during business hours?
It's going to be 24 hours for us. We have it on the, it comes into our system notifies us via email and text, and we can actually see their voicemail, so we can call them back immediately. And we've had those as well. If you remember from the Gaza situation, where we had 70 volunteer attorneys around the country, is filed in 22 different states. We saved about 70 families over there on that hotline or what have you. So, yeah.
You were talking about people not filing paperwork for a long time. Do you see ways of files right now, trying or calling you guys, getting in contact with you to file the paperwork for the permanent stay?
I see a lot of filings probably either in the asylum context or in the federal courts. That's where we're going to probably see, because the individuals that already have some sort of relief, they probably would have already exercised it. But now, given the circumstances, they'll probably put some fire behind them to go ahead and file, if they're looking to file for asylum or conviction against torture, to try to remain in the United States before they actually arrest them. So yes, I would think there will be uptake in some sort of filings. There are those individuals that basically want to, ghost and just disappear and not give, because once you file, you have to tell, immigration what's your residence, where you work, where you've been for the last 5 to 10 years. So those are concerns of individuals.
Last question. The immigration court is very slow court. Sometimes it takes years for the decision to be made. Do you think the courts are going to also speed up the whole system of making decisions? So,
that's a good question. It all depends on the resources. If they give them more resources, they will absolutely move that up. It all depends on the resources. That's always been the issue with the immigration court, is the resource. The more resources they had, the more the adjudications. You see, after COVID, they've slowed down. We've had some people that got the green cards without even interviews after COVID, because they were so backed up. So I'm sure there's still some backup after COVID, but if they want that to be expedited, they have to have the resource to hire more immigration court judges, staff, interpreters, everything else. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to happen? Or probably not?
I don't think so. I think the is making a political point and taking aggressive action against these individuals. I think President Trump knows very well he's going to be challenged on this, but it's a win-win situation for him. You know what I'm saying? Whether he gets, he does what he said what he's going to do, yet if the judiciary stops him, you can blame it on the judiciary, but he did what he could do.
Thank you very much.
Where's that online? Memoir date?
Yes, it's one.
It's also on the press advisory.
Okay.
He said to have called him.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Any more questions? All right. Again, thank you all for being here. Appreciate it.